Good afternoon, everybody. Hope all is well. Love and light, guys. Welcome to the show. Uh, Happy Saturday. I'm just waiting to bring on my guests. They're having a little technical difficulties. See, it's always pros and cons to live in the Dominican Republic. Oh yeah, there's definitely pros. There's definitely cons. You just kind of got to weigh it out. One thing I will say is that wherever you do decide to relocate in DR, make sure you have good internet service. Okay, and we'll talk about that too. Um, because even for me, where my house is up in the compo, I will tell you, I did have an issue with getting service up there. Oh yeah, I had to go through three different internet companies in order to get service up there, but I finally managed to get it. That's the most important thing. I got it. You know, so it's very important for me to have that, so that when I'm streaming live and all those things, I won't have any issues or interruptions when I'm going live. Yeah, definitely need that. So I'm just waiting, giving a few minutes for you guys to come on in. As y'all know, I do go live on Saturdays, and I have another live tomorrow, same time tomorrow. So make sure you guys hit that notification bell. Yeah. And this guest that I'm going to be having on today is military. She's from retired military, and she just wants to. I've decided to bring her on. uh, we met in a Facebook group, and I always talk to you guys about getting active in these. Oh, actually, I'm sorry, not a Facebook group. I met her in a group on WhatsApp. Met her in a group in WhatsApp, and that's pretty much how we connected. And I always say, guys, for those of you guys who are looking to make that transition, you guys should get proactive with these groups, meeting people, connecting with people, especially in the the area and location that you plan on relocating to. It's always good to make those connections, solid ones at that, so that when you get down there, it'll help you to navigate. You know, you just whatever it is that you might need. It's always good to make those connections with people. So I spoke to her. Her and I had in common. I think this is. Hold on, guys. Give me 1 minute. She's sending me a voice message. Hold on, guys. I'm sorry. This is why I like to have all this stuff done. Okay, it's saying my browser has lost connection, which I don't understand because my connection seems to be fine in here. Um, Hold on, guys. Hold on. No sound. Okay, give me 1 minute. 1 minute, guys. Okay, am I good now? I'm good. All right, good. Yeah, so I'm waiting to have her on. I like to have my guest on before, so that we can there's no technical difficulties. Yeah, so I'm wondering what's going on here. But I guess as I'm waiting for her to come on, I guess I give you guys some updates in terms of the house. Okay, so I did get the numbers on the roof. I did get the numbers on the roof. For those of you guys who haven't seen the last video that I uploaded, great, we can hear you. All right, good, 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 good. I appreciate you guys. Yeah, for those of you guys who didn't check out the last video that I updated, in which I try to keep you guys updated with the building process. So I'm pretty much ready to get the roof done, ready to get the roof done. They then gave me the numbers on that. So the labor cost, guys, on the roof is going to run me 475,000 Dominican pesos, which comes out to roughly, to round it off, we're talking about 7,000. Okay, we're talking about $7,000 for the labor. Okay, here we go. Here she goes, guys. All right, we're bringing her on now. All right, add to the stage. Tequila, you there?
I hope so. I don't see anything though.
Okay, I can see you. I will say your connection's a little on the choppy side, and this is what
Yeah,
I was telling a lot of my viewers. These are part of the pros and cons of living in Dominican Republic.
absolutely.
One of the cons is definitely the internet connection. We hear her. Yoga said, but they can hear you.
Can they see me?
I mean, I can hear you. Just talk a little bit. See, guys, this is one of the issues living in DR. Yeah, internet service, man. Depending on where you live, if you're one of those people that's working remotely, you got to make sure your connection is good. But as she tries to get back on, I guess I could continue on uh, with the labor cost. Yeah. So anyway, I got the numbers on the roof. So the labor cost is 475,000 Dominican pesos, which is about 7,000. All right, to round it off, and then the material cost. The material cost is going to run me 250,000 Dominican pesos, which is 4,000, 4,100 to round it off. 4,100. All right, she's back. She's back. Let's see. Let's see. Tequila, you there?
Yes, it says that everyone can see and hear me. I just can't see or hear you.
Okay,
I
well
mean,
I
I can
can't
hear you, but I can't see you.
I can't see your face, but I can hear you. Only because I guess the connection, I guess the connection of where you at. And as I was telling the viewers, these are the pros and cons of living in Dominican Republic. One of the cons is definitely the internet connection.
Hmm.
Yeah, for sure. And where my house is up in the Campo. And before I got, because I needed the internet connection in order to do the security camera installation. I needed that, so I went through two companies in which they couldn't get this. I couldn't get the service there, and I finally found a service that was able to connect my internet. So now pretty much I'm good. So I was telling the viewers, you guys can see her. Oh, guys, I'm thinking I'm talking to her the whole time. I'm sorry, guys. Tequila, you
You,
there?
yeah, you were saying that your house was in the is being built in the campo, and some of the challenges of being in the campo.
Yeah, well, yeah, that was definitely one of the challenges is getting connected with the internet service. So I was telling a lot of the viewers how we pretty much connected. We connected through Facebook. I mean, not Facebook, a WhatsApp group, and we do have something in common. One of the things being growing. I'm into growing organic fruits and vegetables, something that
Hmm.
you are pretty much dear to. And she has a group just dedicated to that for some of you guys who are interested in coming in and joining her WhatsApp group. Now one of the things that we did discuss was, you being, retired from the military, and
Mm-hmm.
how you are geared to trying to promote more retired military people to see, another life outside of what we are accustomed to. So
Exactly.
yeah. So with that being said, I'm going to give you the platform to pretty much tell the viewers where you're from, and and what made you decide to move to Dominican Republic and make a life for yourself.
Okay. Well, I had retired from the Navy, and I had absolutely no thoughts or plans to move outside the country until I came I organized a vacation for like 25 people, half of whom I never met before. And I'm a proud Texas girl, even though I was born in Georgia. And for
Okay.
the first time in my life, every time I would come home on leave, even when the plane was just circling over Texas soil, I hadn't even touched down and I'd be pumping my fist like, woohoo, I'm home, Texas, I'm home. And for the first time in my life, when I got on the plane to come back from here, from vacation to go back to Texas, my heart was heavy. I
Mm,
was depressed. I mean, physically, I had this heaviness in my chest,
mm,
and I didn't want to go. And as soon as I got home, I thought, why not? Because I had been on several deployments when the ship would dock in Thailand or, someplace. And most of us would end up migrating to an Americanized bar only to find out that the owner of that bar was some retired Navy somebody or other. And I thought, why can't I? Well, I can do the same thing. They did it. I can do it too. I don't have kids. I had one dog at the time.
mm.
So I started. I made a spreadsheet. I'm not a spreadsheet person, but I wanted to make an informed decision. And I had several countries. I knew I love a Latin flavor, so all the countries, with the exception of Belize, which I think is not as heavy on the Latin
Mm,
flavor.
no, no, it's actually close to Mexico, and believe it or not, Belize has a lot of Mexican influence. I mean, for a lot of people that's not really knowledgeable about
Uh-huh.
Belize, even in terms of like the food, the food, very they eat tamales and stuff like that. Very surprising. I only I only know that only because I know somebody from Belize. But go ahead, continue on.
Um, Well, the DR just had the most checks in the box. I had looked at Costa Rica, Panama, Puerto Rico, Belize, Costa Rica. And
Hmm.
one of the things that I had decided was that I kind of wanted to blend in. I wanted to go somewhere where I could blend in. And I blended in just enough for obvious reasons, but
Hmm.
I was still different enough that for the first time as an African American woman, I was exotic. We're not exotic in the United States.
Right,
I took
right.
my dog to the vet the other day, and when one of the receptionists came out to ask me, and I had to ask her to slow down. I said, "I'm sorry," in Spanish. I said this. I don't speak much Spanish. I'm learning.
Hmm.
And I said, I'm from the United States, and I kid you not, it was like a wave, just head after head. I was like, yes, I'm American. I'm Americana. So it's nice. They do love Americans here, for good and bad reasons. If you
Mm,
do it right, you can really enjoy yourself. But you just have to keep your head on a swivel and really read between the lines when dealing with people
hmm.
here, because sometimes they like us for the wrong reason. So,
Right, right. And you
but I
you
have
have
no
to be able
regrets.
to distinguish the right reasons from the wrong. Definitely,
Mm-hmm.
definitely. So you said you originally from Georgia, but you claim yourself to be a Texan, I guess, because you've been there for quite some time.
I'm
Now,
an army brat.
for myself, I'm from New York, right? And I know, I just can't get with, Santo Domingo. I guess I come from the hustle and bustle. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
for being a Texan, living in, a big city, because Santo Domingo is, the capital.
Mm-hmm.
How was that adjustment for you, and what made you decide from decide to move to Santo Domingo outside of, the provinces, especially being from, the country of, Texas, the country. Well, I consider Texas the country, yeah. So what made you decide that out of, Santo
With
Domingo?
DFW, Austin, San Antonio, Houston, you consider Texas the country?
What I guess depending on what part of Texas you live in, I would say I'm from the suburbs of New York, but I've been living in Brooklyn for over 10 years. You know what I mean? So I'm accustomed to the hustle and bustle, and I always tell people, for me, I can only last a good weekend in Santo Domingo, and then I'm ready to go back to the North Coast.
Mhm.
That's just me. That's just me personally. But for you, being from Texas, like I mean, what part of Texas are you from? What were you living
I'm
in?
from Fort Hood, or used to be called Fort Hood, which is kind of
Uh-huh.
small. So you would definitely probably consider that area the country. But when I retired in Dallas. So I
Okay.
still got a
Okay.
yeah, I still got a taste of the bigger, yeah, because it's probably still a little bit slower than Brooklyn, but you know.
Right.
Um, but
So
I
what would you
lived in
say?
Barbados too. I lived in Punta Cana as well, and I loved both. I
Uh-huh.
loved both. I would probably love it just all different for different reasons. If I went to Las Terrenas or Puerto Plata, is where your house is being built,
Yeah.
I'm sure
Yeah.
I would find something to love. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so far, it seems like that every place that I've lived, I have loved and not wanted to leave at that
Okay.
time. But I was married at the time, so I kind of went with where my husband needed to go for work. And
Mm-hmm.
each time I didn't want to leave. And then when we would go there and I would fall in love and learn to appreciate things about that area. And then I would go begrudgingly and then fall in love with that place. So I just think, I mean, this country has something for everybody. If you are more of a mountainous person, they even have,
Mm-hmm.
the areas where you can live up in the mountains. If you want to
Was
live
like
on the beach.
Habacoba?
Uh-huh.
Habacoba? Yeah.
Harabacoa.
I
Mm-hmm.
think yeah, the pronunciation for me always gets me. Okay.
Oh.
So for you, what was the adjustment like? Like, how long have you been living in Santo Domingo, and what has that adjust? How has the adjustment been for you?
I think well, because I'm military, so I've been to probably 30 something countries. So I don't think that
Mm-hmm.
the adjustment overall was difficult. The language barrier is probably the biggest adjustment. See, this is why I didn't want to
Mm-hmm.
sit here in this area initially, because it's noisy, but the other area, the signal is really bad. But
Mm-hmm.
for me, the language barrier and the inconsistent electricity were the only two adjustment problems that I had. Everything else was just like being like hitting a port.
Mm-hmm.
When the
Okay.
ship pulls in the port. We've been thrown into all kinds of cultural situations, so I was used to it.
Okay. So I know for a lot of Americans that's looking to move down there, a lot of us prefer to live in gated communities,
Hmm.
communities with security and so on and so on. Now, you yourself is living in a Dominican community, am I correct?
Yes.
So tell me, how is that like for you? And would you recommend somebody who's looking to move to Dominican Republic, would you recommend them to live in the Dominican community?
Man, you would have to drag me kicking and screaming back to the States. I did like you, and I commend you for thinking out of the box and buying property and doing your thing. I really do, black man.
Thank
Seriously.
you.
What I have a three-story penthouse, and I bought it for 102 grand. And I'm 3 blocks away from the ocean. I
Mm,
cannot get what I have in the States for that
mm,
price. Not even close. I mean, even rent, I couldn't get
mm-hmm,
rent for 830 something dollars. Um, the 800 actually includes my utilities. That's how much I pay with my mortgage and my utilities. My food, it
mm-hmm.
depends on if I'm a diet at that time. That the food bill is different. Food bill is
and
different.
we gonna and we gonna and
But
we're gonna get into that too. We definitely gonna get into that for sure.
mhm.
Yeah,
But I
but
know
go ahead.
I wish I want so much, especially for people of color. There's so many opportunities here to come and really build your what is it they call it, your legacy and generational wealth. There you go. Even if you don't
Hmm.
want to live here, so many people do want to live here, and the Europeans are cleaning up. The
Yes, they
Europeans are
are.
coming over here and buying apartments and renting them out. And I was one of the ones that was renting those apartments. I saw a lot of
Mm,
apartments when we were moving to Punta Cana, and it was
mm,
German people that were showing me very nice apartments. By the way, it was German people or Europeans. They weren't all Germans, but anyway, the point is, we can do that too.
right.
We can do that too. And even if you don't want to live here, I get it. Some people have, mothers and fathers that are aging, and, they have their reasons or they just can't because they have a really good job and they can't work remote. And okay, I get it. But okay, you have vacation property.
Hmm.
Get your family in on a timeshare. And then, during the months that none of your family want to come and vacation in your
Hmm.
timeshare, let it make money for you and Airbnb it out, or I mean,
Right. I just want to respond to this question with Z, because Z, there are people that have this kind of mentality, and I'm not sure if it's a man or a woman, but he says here, your place will only rent for 5 months a year until year, and you'll be repairing a lot. They also says buying in the DR, a DR neighborhood, you'll never get your money back renting or selling it. And so a lot of us are at the age, a lot of us that are investing in DR, a lot of us, in our late 30s, reaching towards retirement. So a lot of us are investing in DR with the mindset of spending our golden years there. Not so much of, looking to make a profit. Okay, and that's just why a lot of us have chosen to buy in Dominican neighborhoods, not for the investing purposes, but solely to retire there. You know what I mean? So if you're looking to invest into DR for that purpose, you have to distinguish. What's not really distinguish, but you have to figure out what's your purpose in investing. Are you investing for to make money, or you are investing to spend your golden years there? So you have to weigh it out, and then once you figure that out, then you decide on whether or not you're going to buy in a Dominican neighborhood versus buying in an expat community. You see what I'm saying? So
right.
yeah.
But I will say this: this is a very loud country too. But I will
But I
say
can
this:
hear you
no,
very clearly.
Oh, okay. I will say there are ways definitely that you can either walk into equity, like for example, new construction. And I know this because my brother is a contractor for the government. His wife is a principal of an ISD in Germany. They're the Huxtables, okay? They have the
Uh,
money. My brother is
mm,
always business minded. So he had me and my then husband go around Punta Cana looking at investment properties. And that's how I learned, and they really wine and dine you too. But
of course they do. They want that U.S. dollar.
yeah, yes, exactly. But what I learned is it was a tie to the what's that something Hollywood hotel. It's a hotel that they have it all over the world.
Planet Hollywood,
No, it's like
Dreams or
where the
something.
superstars they have the memorabilia of the superstars. Well,
Hard
anyway,
Rock.
yes, there you go. Well, this was, instead of it being Hard Rock, it was Canna Rock
Okay.
hotels that they were building. And what they explained is, say, like they have like four phases. Like, okay, phase one, these apartments, luxury apartments, are going to be finished this year. Phase two will
Hmm.
be finished the summer of 2025, just as an example. Phase three, 2026. Phase four, 2027. If you say, okay, my kids will be graduating in 2 years, and I'll be ready to move in 2 years. I'm just waiting for them to graduate. So give me phase three. How much does it cost to get into a two-bedroom phase three? okay, they'll say if you get in now, you can get into a phase three apartment at let's just keep the numbers even, $100,000. By
Mm-hmm.
the time phase three is completed,
You're
we're
looking
going to
at
be selling them
150.
for 225. So
Uh-huh.
you get in for $100,000. That's on the contract. You will not have to pay one cent more than $100,000. That's the contract,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
The person that comes in and get the exact same model when phase three is complete, they're going to have to pay the 225. By the time you get your key, you've already walked into
$130.
$125,000
Right.
equity.
Equity, yeah.
You know, now my case is not. I live in an older building, okay,
Uh-huh.
but they're building a boardwalk. They call it the Malecon here. Remember, I told you I'm three blocks away from the ocean.
Uh-huh.
Everybody, all the stores, all the shops along that area, they're investing within their building to
Uh-huh.
yeah to
To bring up the
upgrade.
community.
Yes, to bring it, and they're even because I know the streets, some of the streets, side streets where I live used to have pot marks when I first moved here.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is like now they're like, oh no, we're elevating. Guess what
Mm-hmm.
happened to my property value? Because I've been here
It,
3 years, and my property value elevated as well because of that Molicon and the
look at that.
businesses that are coming into it. So
Mm-hmm.
there, if you're smart about it, you, you can get into a place
Mm-hmm.
based off of what's going on around you,
Around
and
you.
right. Or if
Right.
you get into new construction,
Mm-hmm.
if you do the phases right, you
Right.
can definitely get into properties that my brother, all he was going to do was flip it. He
Mm-hmm.
said, okay, if I can get into an apartment, because he doesn't want to live here. So he said, if I
Mm-hmm.
can get into a phase four apartment, and by the time I get the keys when phase four is complete, and know that the apartment is now being sold for darn near 2.5 times more than what I paid for it, I'm just going to sell it or rent it out,
Mm-hmm.
he had that as an option. So you
And you
definitely
see,
can
and
build
even for
generational wealth
me,
here.
building up in the compo, it's only over time. It's only a matter of time. You know what I mean? I got in
Mhm.
when the prices were affordable. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, and yeah,
Yes, that part.
am I the first? Am I the first to build up there? Yeah, yeah, I am. But see, I already did my research. I'm close to everything. So I made sure that I already know. Let's just say 10 years from now. Okay, yeah, I'm probably when it's all said and done, the investment that I spent, I'm looking at maybe like 225,000. That I'm going to be spending altogether. But let's just say 10 years from now. 10 years from now, that 225 is easily going to be about 500, maybe even 600,000. You see what I'm saying? So
I see exactly what you're saying. Then
yeah,
you ain't never lied.
yeah,
My
yeah.
my I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, no, no. Go ahead, go ahead.
No, my friend, she's renting and she's a businesswoman. She owns a bar and is always looking, to figure out how to make money. Food trucks. She's got all these things of how she wants to reinvest her money and stuff. But she was saying that we were driving around and she said these apartments back in the day used to go for this much, but now they go for this much. The people who got in early,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely, stuff is appreciating here. As a
Mm-hmm.
matter of fact, in the center of the city, where they have built like all these nice luxury towers and high rises, and then you'll see like this regular old house where the person's like, my
I'm not selling.
grandpappy and
Yeah.
his grandpappy, we're not selling.
Right.
And but if they wanted to, they could get probably 10 times the value of
That
that
is
house just
worth.
because of the land. So
Uh-huh.
again, it's like you said the magic word research. You did your research. If
Mm-hmm.
something is growing, I guarantee whatever you can afford to buy here now, you won't be able to afford it in 5 years.
No, no, because even then, I tell my viewers back then, I'm not making the money that I was making back then, and we're
Mhm.
talking about 2016. I was looking at properties where, 6,000 for 600 square meters, 5,000, 7,000, and we're talking about in good locations. I had an
Mhm.
opportunity to buy this, and I'm very transparent with my viewers. Back then, I had an opportunity to buy 1,000 square meters in the heart of Puerto Plata for 22,000. Okay, 22,000 in a nice Dominican neighborhood. I just didn't have the money at the time, you know. But
Mm-hmm.
who would have? I guarantee you, right now, that same property is worth maybe about 80, 90,000. Just the land itself, you know. So I
Mm-hmm.
always tell people, you know, you see a return faster in Dominican Republic, anywhere in the United States, only because when you're dealing with an unregulated, it's easier for you to see a faster return because there's no regulations in terms of how much you can sell it for. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
In the States, you know, you're buying based on the comps around you, you know. It's really hard to appreciate a home in Dominican Republic when you have a house here that's worth $1 million, and then you got one here worth 300 million, and they're all in the same community. So it's like, you know, how do you base it really? You know what I mean? So that's why I
Mm-hmm.
tell people it's so easy for you to capitalize in Dominican Republic when you're in a country that has an unregulated market for sure. So now that you're there for 3 years, I know it's hard for a lot of folks to make an adjustment, but since you are a brat, an army brat, it's easier for you. But for on a day-to-day basis, you know, because I know you're out of the honeymoon stage, you're out of that. So what do you do to pass time? You know, I know some people find themselves bored after a while. So what is it that you do
Mm-hmm.
to pass time now that you're there?
Well, I am the child that plays well alone. But
Uh-huh.
I will say I am. I always have been. But I will say this though, being a part of WhatsApp groups and Facebook groups, it not
Mm-hmm.
only I use it to make sure that I do get out of the house from time to time, but
Uh-huh.
I spent the first 6 years when I was married not knowing things that I really needed to know. For example, I came here. I came here trying to find out information about TRICARE. That's the insurance, the medical insurance that the military uses, and couldn't find anything. My ex husband did the best he could to try and find out for me. Um, just it's better to know the resources that you need before you need them. You know, and couldn't find anything. And it wasn't until I went to a group dinner that was gear created for bringing expats together and discovering a new restaurant each month. The girl that ran it at the time was retired Air Force. And she was like, "Oh, girl,
Mm-hmm.
they have all kinds of clinics here that are just for the veterans all over the island, and just a wealth of information." And then I love dogs. And from her, I met another girl that we collaborated to do a rescue of of a dog, and that's how we met. And then from her, I started learning about more resources that I need to live and just elevate my creature comforts of life and things like that, as well as get me out of the house for fun things. So I would say to anybody before they move, I didn't have the forethought to, before I moved to a country, let me join a bunch of Facebook groups and start talking to
Mm-hmm.
people so that I could ask questions about, and then set myself up for success. I didn't. I was proud of myself for doing the spreadsheet, but and I kind of left it at that. Thought I was doing well, well, I did a spreadsheet, but my
Mm-hmm.
life really didn't really start until like year 7 when I started getting out and meeting other expats and picking their brains and learning. No, they have this here, they have that here. You're a veteran. Oh, you have kids? Well, they have this and they have that. Get connected before you get here. And it
Mm-hmm.
makes a huge difference. A huge difference. I've
Mm.
never met a YouTube about a country, and he's not even living here yet. That's
Uh-huh.
forward thinking if there ever
Yeah.
was.
Well, I tell people I'm in my transition stage. I'm waiting, you know, I give myself I got a plan, you know, I got a plan. I'm
Mhm.
45. I'll be 45 next year. By 50, I want to be enjoying the fruits of my labor. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
We have been indoctrinated to believe that we got to wait to 65, to
Mhm.
retire. People are not living to be 65. The time is now. And with all of what's
Mhm.
going on with social media and so many different platforms, there are different ways for us to generate the income that we want so that we can live the kind of lifestyle that we want to live. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Exactly. Yes. There are a
yeah.
lot of people here that I mean, I get it, for people who are retired, okay, we have a pension and so on. But there are a lot of people in their 30s that are not retired and not even close. And they're here
Mm-hmm.
and they were creative about how to do the remote work thing and they're doing it. They're
Mm-hmm.
doing it. Now, back to the real estate, no, you'll never get any equity. Even if it's not about equity, again, even if you just rent for the time that you're here, you're still renting a nice apartment or a nice house for probably 50% of what you're renting in the States, and what you're doing with the rest of your money, you're paying off debt. I mean, you can,
Mm-hmm.
and really that's why I initially came here. I didn't come here thinking that I was going to buy property and that I was going to be getting my residency 8 years later. I came here thinking, okay, I still want to maintain a certain quality of life, but I have a lot of credit card debt. If I stay in the
Uh,
States paying a high cost of rent, I'm
you'll
not, I
never.
can't.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So I came here and was staying in, I lived down the street from the old president, not the
Oh
current
wow.
president.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's just to let you know what kind of neighborhood I was in.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to finally start paying off a lot of, I had a lot of credit card debt. I'd like to
Uh-huh.
shop. I like to shop.
What
But
woman don't?
right. But the point is I was able to pay off a lot of credit card debt while living in the same neighborhood as the president of the Dominican Republic. I could have
Nice.
walked to his apartment, his penthouse. I could have walked there. That's how close we were.
Mm-hmm.
I never would have been able to do something like that in the States. So sometimes yeah, if we buy property, it's obviously nice to know that you bought something with intelligence and and with the thought that you're going to build, you probably are going to build equity, whether you want to sell it or not. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
just because the Dominican Republic is catching on fire. So
Yes.
many people
At a
from
rapid
all
pace.
people,
At a,
yeah, like the more Facebook groups that you're in, there's always somebody. Oh, me and so are in Canada right now. Me and my husband, and we're looking to move there. Always
mm-hmm.
people that are coming here in droves. And the
Yes.
president, he was reelected for a second term. He's not stupid. He was like, okay, my country is a hot topic. It is highly desired. So we need to elevate.
And it's no
People are,
more. It's no longer a third world country. We're talking. It's a developing country,
yeah.
developing. So when you see a country that's developing, it's you. I know me. I want dibs. I want dibs on it. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
man.
I want to
I'm
be a part of that. So
mhm.
you being military, ex-military, what advice would you give military people who are almost near retirement? What advice would you give them?
That come here for a vacation, come here, but before you come here for a vacation, come here with appointments to meet realtors, oh my gosh, there's so many military here, it's ridiculous, all over the island. Get in.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I own one of the Facebook groups, Vets and DR. Get in with a lot of Facebook groups, watch a lot of YouTube videos. I subscribe to yours like day one,
Mm-hmm.
watch as many YouTube videos where people that you can relate to.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a black man, watch some videos that are given by black men. Because they can tell you what it's like being a black man and or a white woman or whatever.
Right.
And I don't know. I haven't caught any where any veterans have done it. I'll
Mm-hmm.
plan to start at some point you're really giving me an opportunity to get my feet wet because I'm kind
For
of shy.
sure, for sure, for sure. You
But
should definitely target, your group of people. Yeah,
mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Because I mean, most of them are getting a pension and a disability check. I
Hmm.
live off of my disability. I'm literally, like I said, 3-story penthouse, three
Uh-huh.
blocks away from, and I completely my pension. I don't even have to touch my disability check. My pension alone takes care of all that.
Now look at that. Now I do have a question. One, Crazy World, shout out to Crazy World. And for the 17, well 15 now, are you guys in there? Don't forget to hit the like, share, and subscribe button. And for those of you that guys don't know where the like is, it's the top right. The buttons on the top right corner. Just tap that, and that will enable you to hit the like. Now, I don't want to forget about this question because I asked all my viewers this. I'm sorry, all my interviewers this when they come on. From your perspective, being a woman, tell me, how much would you say it will cost to live for a single person to live in Dominican Republic?
Well, it depends. In one WhatsApp, well, see, it depends on your taste. It depends
Uh-huh.
on if you're really willing to immerse yourself in the. You know what? Wait, let me add. Wait, I would. Can I respond to Sima Kama or Sama?
Okay,
Uh,
sure. Go ahead. Go
I don't.
ahead.
I don't really know if they will strip the house, but there. I will say to your point, something's going on because I've been told by multiple realtors that landlords would prefer to rent to Americans over Dominicans.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know why. I don't. I mean,
Well,
because I will.
because I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why. And this is what I heard from a local. A lot of owners do not like renting to Dominicans only because they clearly they just don't pay their rent on time, or they'll move in, they'll
Mm,
pay it for the first couple of months, and then they just stop paying. So they have a lot of issues with renting to their own people. So this is why they prefer not to rent to Dominicans. And then a
mm.
lot of them destroy their homes, they destroy their properties and stuff. So they prefer not to for that reason. Yeah, for that reason.
That's odd
Yeah.
because the people in my building, they maintain their stuff. I mean, they put
Uh,
decorations in the public ladder well and fix it up with curtains around the
hmm.
window. I kind of wonder if it's a certain areas, of where the
Yeah.
people
Oh,
live
for
in certain
sure.
areas.
Like
Because
the
I'm in
tourist
a middle class
areas.
area, and these people take care of their properties and rent out. When we have our
Hmm.
owners meetings, I see who's at the meetings and who's not because they're not an owner. But these
Uh,
people are quiet. They take care of their cars, they take care of their properties, and
hmm.
hold each other accountable to your car is leaking oil. So who's you know
For the most part,
so that kind of
I will
surprises
say
me.
Yeah, I will say that in terms of like upkeeping the property, they're really good at that. I guess it's more so them not paying the rent,
Hmm.
not paying the rent. But back to the question that I was asking you about, how much you say a person can
Oh,
survive off of month? Yeah. Well,
now for
let's just
me,
okay. Yeah, for you, what would you say your monthly expenses are on a monthly basis?
okay, so um, I've always had. I'm thinking of doing average because all the places that when I was renting, all the places that I rented were $1,000, and it it depends on like electricity. From what I understand, your usage can be the same, but Punta Cana, the electricity was twice as high, probably because
Okay.
they were hitting up tourists. So
Uh
there's
huh.
there's some variables in there that are kind of beyond your control
Uh
that
huh.
you know. Um, but where I live right now, like I said, 1,200 a month covers my mortgage, my cable, my electricity. Yeah, those three things, and
Okay.
then so 1,200 would cover all my livables.
Okay, and then without the liberals, that the additives like the going out, entertainment, miscellaneous. What would you say that your monthly expense on that is?
Uh, well, see, like I said, I'm kind of a homebody, so
Uh
I
huh.
definitely go out once a month with the group that I run,
Uh
but
huh.
maybe I don't know 200 because I'm not a big drinker either. So
Okay. Neither am
you
I.
know,
Neither am I. Uh huh.
yeah. So again, it depends on how you like to roll.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, it depends on who you're rolling
So
with and
you
how
so
you're
we
trying to
say
roll.
about 1,400 to 1,500 on average a month.
Yeah, if obviously you're not living in like the like Piantini or Naco,
Uh
but
huh.
a nice middle class, you can get an apartment. Well, at this point, but I have a feeling that 2025 is going to see some of those prices go away. But you can get a nice
Mm-hmm.
middle class apartment, clean, modern, for like five, six, $700 a month. And your utilities, if you're responsible with it, is probably going to cost you. I'll say, let's just say 2 mil, although mine is only 1 mil 500 on average. But let's just say 2 mil. Maybe you're going to be in a neighborhood where the electricity is a little bit higher. So
Okay.
2 mil, that's what is that about 27, $28? 2 mil?
Yeah.
Would you say?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah.
Yeah.
So
2 mil is like yeah. It's like maybe 28, almost $30 or something like that. Yeah.
my electric bill is like 30 something, $40 every month. So
Nice. Nice.
yeah. So let's just say you get an apartment for 700. You can get it cheaper, but I'm just trying to find an average, a
Right.
realistic average that a person can
Mm-hmm.
come here expecting to get an apartment 700, and then your electricity is going to be at $40. Your cable is probably going to be just your internet because you don't really need cable.
Mm-hmm.
Your internet is going to be like another $35, and
Okay.
then your food. Well, that
It all
obviously
depends.
that's
It all
that's on you.
depends. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Because
Okay.
I don't eat beef and stuff, so that's expensive too. So I tend to stick with the. I have cheap taste when it comes to food. I don't do seafood, and yeah, I do fish and
Okay.
chicken, and that's the cheapest you can get with food.
I want to answer, read this question, this comment that this viewer, A Casio 59 says. This is the type of people that the Dominican Republic needs. People who want to join our Dominican culture. Defaming Dominicans as racist is an aberration of high. Malafi that seeks to destroy us. And I this is one of the reasons why and I say this all the time. I invested in DR to embrace the culture. You know what I'm saying? If I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
buy in a Casa Linda, I could have saved my money and did that. You know what I mean? And everybody has
Mm-hmm.
their own idea of how they want to live. And if you're living in a gated community, how do you expect to embrace the culture when you're closed in? That's
Mm-hmm.
just my personal opinion on that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of making Dominicans, putting Dominicans in a bad light. With that whole issue with the DR and Haiti, it's more cultural than anything. And I don't look at Dominicans as racist only because they're Black Dominicans. I mean, so how could people, say that the Dominicans are racist when you have Black Dominicans? So
But a lot of
I
it,
just, yeah, I just
you
wanted to
be here.
say
I
that.
know black. I know black.
Right, right, yeah, right, right,
I had that
and
conversation with my ex plenty of times. Like, dude, the way you
mm,
guys idolize, certain colors, even within your own community, and
and
like
I
in
get
the
it.
what.
I have to say this, because they say that African Americans, Americans, Black Americans, anyway, we're the only ones that are big on race, and I think a lot of it stems from we were stripped from our identity. You know what I mean? And people that are Black that are not American, they consider themselves not they we some black Americans look at it like, oh, you don't want to identify as being black, but why should they identify as being black when they were from another country? They're not, you know what I mean? We're the only ones that it's either
Mm-hmm.
you're black or you're white. No, they are Dominican, and that's just what they
Mm-hmm.
are. You know what I mean? So they
Oh
don't,
no, I
if they
get
don't,
that.
yeah, I get it too,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of us that just don't understand it, don't want to understand it, and don't get it. But I can understand it from their standpoint. You know what I mean? They are who they are. They're Dominican, whether they're white or black. They are Dominican, and that's what they identify as. You know?
Mhm.
Yeah. But
I think the issue, like when I would get into the conversations, is when like, because you like, yeah, like you said, a lot of them are black Dominicans, but
mhm.
or Afro Latinos, even that term, and they're like, no, like they want
Yeah.
to get rid of the Afro part, and it's like, come on now, we're cousins. We're cousins. The
Uh,
slave ship stopped by your island just like they stopped by Columbus, Georgia, or
right. We was
Savannah,
all
or whatever
dropped
part
off
of
some
Georgia.
damn where.
We're cousins, man. I mean, so I feel like, you know, to try and disavow all of embrace all of it, everything that you are, that, but to say that, oh, I embrace the Spanish and the Taino, but not the part that you are. Well, that kind of
hmm
hurts my feelings a little bit, because I have the same blood that's running through your veins too. Probably our cousins were on the same ship, just yours got off here and mine got off in the
Right.
States,
Right. We
you
was all
know
dropped off some
but
damn where.
we're cousins. We're cousins, man. Somos primos. What the
Yeah.
hell? Or what the heck? Excuse me.
So let me ask you. You say you're single now, right? So as a
Uh huh.
single black African American woman, maybe you're not looking, but what, are you dating? And if you are dating, how is the dating scene working for you?
All right. Well, so anybody that can do the math, if I'm retired, you already know I'm a woman of a certain age. I it is hard for my age bracket,
hmm
because the only men that are showing an interest in dating a woman in my age bracket are men in their late 20s,
Okay.
or maybe early 30s, or in their 70s.
Uh huh.
Men in my age bracket are
Uh
seem to yeah, they're looking for girls that can twerk the best.
huh.
I mean, like they're looking for women in their 20s. They're not because they're thinking about, okay, I want to have kids in a couple years, because they're not, I get it. Like if
hmm
you're still wanting to have kids, but again, I said men in my age bracket. Men in my age bracket should be grandfathers, you know,
Okay. Well,
ready.
damn. How
You
old? I know
know,
you don't ask a woman their age, but however old you are, you look good. You know.
thank you. I'm
Yeah.
54 in a couple of months.
You look amazing. You look
You
amazing.
know how
God has
we
definitely
do.
been good to you.
Thank you. You know how we do. You know how we do.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just trying to find men in their 40s and 50s, they're not looking for women like me. They're looking for women in their 20s, and it's not because they're wanting to have kids, because they already
Uh-huh.
have kids that are like having kids, you
Right.
know.
Right.
So it's but I can those 28, 29, 32, and
Uh-huh.
I can't take them serious. I'm like, come on.
Uh-huh.
Come on.
I
You know.
I find it that most women in your age bracket do prefer, a little older, whereas us, we don't have a problem with it. So would you say it's difficult, in your at your age to find something, a little bit serious? Only because there are women out there that might be looking for that, So
Actually,
from your
most of my
perspective, what would you
friends
say?
are dating
Uh-huh.
younger men. Most women, and I did it. I did it for a while too, But now all my friends are dating men in their like in their late 20s and early 30s, and
Okay.
their kids are like in their 20s. But
Okay.
they're married to them and everything, and I'm like,
I mean,
I just
it's the culture. The culture is different. I think as Americans, we are the only ones that's really, big on age. Once you leave outside of that, America, it's the culture is just different. You know what I mean? So I know a lot of women prefer that, but for those of you guys that are looking, you might need to be a little bit more open minded, when it comes to dating somebody a little bit younger. That you know what I mean? Yeah.
Mhm. I will say this, and this is really important for especially for women, for men too, but especially for women because of the whole dynamic of how we were raised. That the men are supposed to be the providers and blah blah blah, and you can contribute or you can be equal. Because sometimes sometimes a woman does make more money, but we still
Hmm.
were raised with the foundation that don't be with a scrub. He's supposed to at least
Right.
come, me be able to meet you at the table. But I realized when I did my research back to that word, and I was looking at checking out the social, what's that word, socioeconomic group, like economy of each of the countries I was considering, and I realized,
Hmm.
okay, unless I meet one of the there's a lot of money here. There's a lot of
Of
money here,
course.
but they
Yeah.
but they are very clicky. The money stays with money. So I realized that I had to resign myself that you're going to be the breadwinner because you're going to a
Uh,
country where the average wage is anywhere
hmm.
from is the average is like $250 a
Hmm.
month.
Hmm.
A guy who's doing a little bit, moving and shaking a little bit better, he might be making $500-600 a month.
Right.
So for us we're used to making thousands of dollars per month, yeah, they're looking at you like you're Cliff Huxtable. I'm sorry, I
Uh
keep using them, but I can't think of another upper middle class.
huh.
I mean, because we to them we know we're not on the Huxtable level, but to them we are on the
Hmm.
Huxtable level. And so you real as a woman, it's called Sankeys. Google YouTube Sankeys women.
Uh,
There are these men that they have it down to a science, and it is literally a job, a real job for them. I've seen them go to because we used to live when we lived in Punta Cana, our apartment complex had an agreement with the resorts that we could go and share go to their private beaches and enjoy the beaches.
uh,
And, we would just kind of sneak onto the resorts and, sit around the pool and stuff. And we would literally watch these guys
uh,
drive their car, park, and just sit and watch, especially the European women. They would watch the European women, and just wait for the women to try and notice them. But you just have to be really careful because a lot of people make it a business to target foreigners. They don't care if you're from America or from Europe, but they know that we may have more money than they do, and
hmm.
they will promise you the world romantically. And uh, right now, I'm at the part because it's hard for me to trust. So I'm trying to navigate, trying to figure out who is looking at me, or who is looking at me for a green card, or
Hmm.
who is looking at me for a potential. Because a lot of them, after you've been dating for a couple months and, like they're in, oh, I
Right.
have a business, idea that I want to run by you. And of course, they want you to be an investor, you know,
Hmm.
that happens
Hmm.
a lot.
Hmm.
So come here, have fun. The Dominican, I'm completely straight, but I can still call a spade a spade. There are some beautiful women here.
Hmm.
Enjoy yourself, but please enjoy yourself intelligently and be on the lookout because it's almost like a rule book. Family members are always sick and in the hospital and need money to help pay the bill. A brother is always in jail. Somebody's always in jail and need help with the bill, or they are late on the child. They don't have mandated child support here, okay? And they
No.
are and they don't enforce it. But I've seen women that, oh well, I'm really behind on my child support. They're gonna take me to court. So there's
Uh,
always a lot of emergencies that people and the men get told similar stories too. So, but
hmm.
I from what I've learned, from what I'm seeing, I'll say just because I'm only observing, I'm not a man. but what I'm hearing from other men and even from the videos that I guess a lot of the men are okay with it because they like knowing that the woman needs them for something. It gives them, they enjoy a certain type of control.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter to them that the woman is always like this.
Uh-huh.
Dame, necesito, you
Yeah.
know, and they're getting what they want. But I'm kind of traditional. He
Uh-huh.
doesn't have to make as much as me, but just don't use me. Don't look at me like I'm a human or like your personal ATM.
Uh-huh.
So I'm really leery and
Mm-hmm.
cautious right now.
And I
So
think I think a lot of women, a lot of women from the states are, only because of that. And yoga, you are yoga got a lot to say. He said no love for older women in DR. That's not true. It's somebody for everybody, man. It's somebody for everybody. And just the same thing that goes on for us, the same thing goes on for the women. You know what I
oh
mean? You
yeah.
got you got your choppier daughters and you got your tanky panky. So it's the same. It's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But we experience it on both sides. Is it more prevalent when it comes to the women? I'm not gonna say yes or no. It's the same for both, man. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to be able to keep your guard up, and especially if you're looking for something potential and serious, you got to keep that guard up and take your time. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Take your time. I've been playing the field for a while, and I'm not in no rush. I mean, ultimately, I like to get married and have kids. I mean, I'm leaving a legacy behind. You know what I mean? So I gotta pass my property on down to somebody, But at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, I'm not going to rush into that, Like you said
Right.
it yourself, you want somebody that's gonna love you genuinely for you, you know what I mean? So if it takes you 2-3 years to find that, then hey, so be it. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm about to close out. The conversation was definitely refreshing. It really was. Definitely like to have you back on. There's never enough time in
Yeah,
the hour.
nice. Yeah.
I want you to leave for those of you guys who want to know how to contact you. There's plenty of Facebook groups, so give us a couple of your platforms so that people are looking to join these platforms. I always say it's important for us to to reach out, join these platforms and Facebook groups so that we can get ourselves acquainted with other like-minded people, to
Mm-hmm.
help us to navigate so that when we are down there, we know who to contact. So give us some of your social media platforms and groups for people who's looking to join them.
Okay. One of our biggest groups is We Heart, and it's just a heart, but We Heart Santo Domingo, um, Vets in DR, Dominican Mules, and that's when people need stuff sent or brought back from the states, and we haven't had anybody like steal their stuff. Our social group is Santo Domingo Grub Club.
Okay. And I'm gonna once the live is over, I'll put all of those in the description box so that people can access these platforms. Is there anything else you want to say to the viewers before we close out?
Yes, there's a lot of love for older women. It's just whether it's the kind of love that we choose to partake of. Thank
Uh,
you very much.
All right, guys. So with that being said, man, I appreciate all the love and support. Don't forget to hit the like, share, and subscribe. And guys, don't forget to tune in tomorrow, same time tomorrow. I'm doing another live tomorrow, the same time. And just be sure to tune in and look out for that. Hit the notification bell just so that you guys don't miss it. All right. Thanks again, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and I appreciate having you on. And we definitely got to
Thank
do it again.
you. Thank you for having me. I
Any
appreciate it.
anytime. Until then, guys, y'all take care.
Take care. Bye.